The Resilience Across Borders podcast is intended for education, support, and inspiration. I am not a psychologist or a medical doctor and do not offer any professional, medical, or health advice. If you are dealing with or suffering from any psychological or medical conditions, please seek help from a qualified health professional. Hello and welcome back to Resilience Across Borders podcast. I'm your host, Rashid Zahi, and in today's episode, we will go into Beyond the Cliché, rediscovering the wisdom hidden in overused sayings. Basically, how to make ancient advice useful again instead of letting it go in one ear and coming out the other. So, in a world saturated with content and advice, cliches often get a bad rap. We hear them so often that we stop really hearing them. So, for example, everything happens for a reason. Time heals all wounds, or what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. They can all start to sound like empty noise until life makes them real. So what if instead of dismissing them, we took the time to re-examine the truths behind these phrases? Many cliches have survived centuries because they hold deep, time-tested wisdom. We're going to go over a couple of the most common ones. This is not an exhaustive list, of course, along with the powerful insights they point to and how we can actually use them. And number one is, "This too shall pass." So the forgotten wisdom here is in this ancient Persian adage isn't just for hard times, it's for all times. It reminds us that everything is temporary. Pain, joy, stress, success, and failure. Life is always in motion. So how can we use it? Next time you're caught in a wave of anxiety, say it slowly and mindfully. Then ask yourself, if I knew this feeling will pass, what can I do right now to help myself ride the wave instead of drown in it? For instance, a student overwhelmed during finals can ground themselves with this phrase, then break the work into manageable chunks. The exam will pass, but how they care for themselves during this stress can build lifelong resilience. Number two, the phrase or cliche, "Don't cry over spilled milk." The forgotten wisdom here is this cliche isn't about suppressing emotion. It's important to understand that. It's about choosing where to spend your energy. Because what's done is done. Lamenting the past won't fix it. So forward motion is what creates change. So say after a mistake, you can pause and ask, what's the next useful action I can take? Mourn briefly if needed, processing the emotion in a healthy way, but then move into problem solving or acceptance mode. So for instance, if you missed a job opportunity, instead of spiraling into regret, take the next hour to polish your resume or network with someone in that field or someone that can be helpful. In other words, energy redirected is often opportunity reborn. Number three, you can't pour from an empty cup. And the forgotten wisdom in here is that self-care is not selfish. It's survival. You are more useful and loving, creative, and present when your inner well isn't dry. Translating this into maybe a daily check-in is going to be super helpful. And asking oneself, is my cup empty today? Or if so, what would fill it? And then make restoration as a routine and as a responsibility. For instance, being a parent, and then I know a lot of parents can relate to this. A parent taking over 20 minutes in solitude or journaling or walking or meditation or whatever self-care practice can return to their children more present and less reactive. It's not time stolen from others or taken away from others. It's energy invested for you and for them. And number four, actions speak louder than words. And we often trust intentions over patterns. But what people do, and especially what they do consistently, shows what they value far more than what they say. Also reminds me of the old adage, What you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. How can we use this? So, say, for instance, in relationships, professional or personal, we can pay attention to consistency. You can ask yourself, what has this person repeatedly shown me with their actions? Apply this same lens to your own life. What are my actions revealing about my priorities? For instance, if you keep saying you want to start a side hustle, let's say, but weeks go by with no steps taken, it's a sign to reevaluate your readiness or reevaluate your time management. This is an example. Number 5, let go and let God, or universe, or higher power, or life. The forgotten wisdom here is sometimes it's important to remember surrender is not giving up. It's giving into a bigger flow. Control is often an illusion. And peace lives on the other side of acceptance. So acceptance is peace. In other words, when you've done all you can do, you can, for instance, repeat this phrase as a form of release and surrender what's beyond your reach to what is within your control, and that can be your response, that can be your breath or breath work, and your focus, and then also your choice not to get stuck in thinking loops that are not taking you anywhere nor solving anything. So, for instance, a person waiting on a medical test result, they might lose sleep or might obsess over outcomes. Instead, they can choose to anchor their energy in self-soothing practices like breath work or affirmations and reminders, positive reminders, or meditation until results come back. In other words, to make the most of the old truths and other time-tested ones, slow down when you hear a cliche. Ask yourself what real lesson it's offering. What's the real story behind it, right? And you can write them down. You can use them as journaling prompts or reminders. And you can also make them yours, customize them, rephrase them in your own language so they resonate more deeply. And most importantly, live them. These aren't just words. They are instructions for weathering storms. They're instructions for loving better. They're instructions for living wisely. So sometimes the truth is hiding in plain sight, not in a new book or a new podcast or a fad, but in the very phrases we've heard 100 times and forgot to actually listen to. So as always, thank you for tuning into the Resilience Across Borders podcast. Make sure to share the podcast, review it, and do anything you can to give us some feedback and let us know that you are using it, you are listening to it, it is being helpful to you. And that, of course, encourages us to continue create more podcasts and cover more topics all around resilience and all around having a better quality of life and being more aware and not sleepwalking through life. And then if you want to follow the blog, it's at resilience.com, ATRESILIENCE.com. And remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others and stay resilient.